E1, welcome to Africa.
The culture here is spectacular.
I'm excited to experience the vibes that Lagos is going to bring, the culture, the food, the racing.
We've had a great welcome and can't wait to get racing this weekend.
We're in Lagos and I'm super excited to get the podium myself.
It's Lagos GP. We will take the win there. I'm really excited to hit the water.
I can't wait to jump in the boat.
E1's in Africa. Lagos, baby.
Fantastic, isn't it? Here at the UAM E1 Lagos GP, presented by First Bank, the penultimate round of this year's UAM E1 World Championship, presented by PIF. We've had drama all across the season so far, and particular drama here in Nigeria as E1 touches down at the Lagos Lagoon. We're on the African continent for the first time ever. Slight delay here because of the weather, but keep your fingers crossed. And we come here off the back of Monaco, back in July.
Competition is competition. It's an equal playing field. It could be anybody's day.
I'm really proud of my team because they have the spirit.
The competition is healthy and everybody wants to win.
This series is showing us that right up to the end, it all matters.
It really is hotting up now with 3 rounds to go.
Great battle at the front. Oh my gosh.
This is your championship leaders, Rafa, and they've got big problems with that boat. That was a big hit.
It was scary. I was worried for Tom, honestly. No, the main thing is he's okay, he's healthy.
This really is a turn up for the books. First and second in the championship. Rafa and Aoki both in the place race. Oh, Danny Kloss is in trouble.
I am happy this race is finished, guys. What a race.
It's been an awful weekend. Cut and finish.
And never repeat.
Never repeat.
Are Brady, for the first time this season, going to head the championship? A win or second would do that.
The team's had a great weekend, so it's been fun, and now it all comes down to this one race, and proud of Emma. Sam's got to bring it home, and we're all going to be here cheering for him.
This is it. Who's going to win E1 Monaco?
Foil-to-foil racing with Brady and Brazil.
Brazil have taken the long lap. Brady on the right, Brazil on the left. Absolutely locked together, foil to foil, and Brady just about ahead. Brady a second to take the championship lead for the first time this year.
Yeah, we'll take that.
P2 overall, and we're now leading the championship. It sounds pretty good, huh?
It sounds good. Yeah, we're taking it.
And that Monte Carlo action 11 weeks ago put Brady, the reigning champions, into the lead of the standings for the first time in 2025, but not for long. They had problems here with a new gearbox required yesterday and didn't get through into this all-important qualifying race 2. Brazil certainly did, and they banked 3 critical championship points off the back of their first podium of the season back in Monte Carlo. So well done, Brazil, because it's been a difficult start to 2025. Really, actually, even a disqualification at Lago Maggiore. So they received the qualifying trophy with Jean Todt even here as well, the ex-Peugeot rallyman, Ferrari Formula 1 team principal, FIA boss, and now here is a special envoy for the UN promoting road safety. So look what that's done, because Rafa was second in yesterday's qualifying race. So they've gone from 1 point behind Brady to 1 point ahead following their first victory of the season, and sheer delight for them at Doha, and that was round 2. Brady then now just 1 behind. Look at that, 11 covering the top 4 and 22 covering your leading 4 teams so far. So Steve Curtis switched to Brazil from Westbrook earlier on this season, clearly now making a big difference. And yes, hallelujah, we're going to get some racing action here in Nigeria for the first time on a Sunday. The beautiful stars and stripes socks there as everybody gets into position. Looks like it's actually Sam Coleman who's gone for the American socks. It is. I would have thought you might have had a Welsh dragon on there, but he's gone for the stars and stripes instead. Greg Haynes with you. Saunders CB is down there to get all of the action for us, and alongside us in the commentary box is Shelley Jury-Lee. Shelley, it's been real excitement, hasn't it, so far across the weekend? What do you make of the socks, first of all? I think we start in the most important possible area.
Well, I think is he I don't know who he's representing there. I need to have a few words with him, actually. Surely they should be Welsh or English socks, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to ask Sam what the American socks are all about.
Yeah, well, jokes aside, we do have 9 teams, 2 pilots apiece, 1 female, 1 male, so 18 pilots in the field, including 5 rookies here at Lagos for round 6. And the championship, the great news is the championship will indeed go down to the wire. Miami, Florida on Friday the 7th and Saturday the 8th of November. So stay tuned for that. It's been very windy here, very wet, but the weather's calmed down a little bit now. So get ready for the group races. Whoever wins these 2 group races is straight through to the all-important final later on. And equally as important, if you finish last in your individual group race, you will not be through to the final. 38 points will be available for the final winner later on. And also just bear in mind, because it is of paramount importance when you consider there's only 1 point between the top 2 in the standings, the fastest lap of the entire day today in any of the races will score you a bonus point in the championship. I mean, that could even decide the standings by the time we get to Miami at the end of the season. Here we go then for the first group race. Remember, whoever wins is through to the final. Brazil with Timmy Hansen. Welcome back, Timmy, the Swedish rallycross star. He wasn't with us in Monaco. Danny Kloss has been confident all through the event so far. Oben Duncan, the teenager, the youngest female pilot in the field. And Patricia Peters with us for the first time, the 36-year-old from Uruguay. She's a rally driver, first time on the water. So Miami are looking to build up nicely, aren't they, before they get to their home event next time out. Impossible is just a word, says Patricia Peter. I was chatting with her last night. She's absolutely loving this. Only went through the training academy in January, would you believe? The scare of Lago Maggiore and the big accident now long in the past for Oben Duncan. What can she do in front of Didier Drogba here in Nigeria? The boss is watching on from the sidelines. Aoki Racing are the only team to have won 2 events so far from the 5 we have had in 2025. Danny Kloss, the Spanish racing driver, as confident as ever. The start is absolutely key though here. And is the FIA Rallycross champion of 2019. Timmy Hansen is back with us with Brazil, and off the back of their first podium last time out in Monaco, confidence levels are very high indeed. They've already scored 3 points from qualifying yesterday here. So Shelley, here is our course for round 6 of 7.
Here we go on the course in Lagos. It's like a kidney bean shape, and we have got 6 laps in total. You have to take 1 long lap and 1 short lap in amongst those 6. And when you take those, that is the all-important question.
And they've not had time to practice those so far this weekend, so more variables in the mix. So we look down here from our camera, which is on the Black Diamond Hotel. Very much mission control for E1 here in Lagos. We're about to go racing on a Sunday for the first time here on the African continent. We've had some big delays because of thunderstorms, wind, lightning, thunder, you name it. It's been here and has delayed us earlier today, but now we are ready to go. We remind you, whoever wins this group race is straight through to the final. Whoever is last in this group race will not make the final later on this afternoon. The clock is counting down, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. It's going to be a nice clean start and an absolutely excellent start to the delight of Didier Drogba, who sees his team pull ahead, but Aoki's made a good one too. Brazil holding back there, and the boost is absolutely critical, and that is by far the calmest we've seen the water so far this weekend here on the Lagos Lagoon. We look across from Drogba, on board with Oben Duncan. That's Danny Kloss going up the inside for Aoki. This is all about getting straight through to the final. And Brazil now recovering, with Timmy Hansen taking 3rd position from the rookie Patricia Peter, who's making her debut here, the rally driver from Uruguay. Nice clean start, Shelly. Aoki there cutting through on Drogba.
Yeah, absolutely. And here, look at Brazil coming up there now. I'm not quite sure what happened at the start there. It was definitely slow for them, but look at the attack they are on now. I wouldn't be surprised they're going to take that lead very, very soon.
This is wonderful, isn't it? They've waited all day for this. They've been extremely patient, looking down from Mission Control, which is on the 12th floor of the Black Diamond Hotel, but very much now on the water. This is where they'll do their talking, and definitely more corner speed there, wasn't there, for Brazil in relation to Aoki. Drogba are still third after their initial lead, and Miami, you will just see a flash of Miami in the moment. They're in the background in 4th place.
Here comes Brazil. They are pushing on and off that boost, trying to close that gap on Aoki. Can they do it? And of course, we've now got to start thinking about our long laps and our short laps. Who is going to take them? They can't do it on the first lap round. That is the start run lap. They cannot do it then. But now we can start doing short and long laps. And who is going to get that short lap tucked away and get some clean water? I would if I was Brazil.
Short lap, this lap. Short lap, this lap. Short lap.
Short lap, this lap then for Danny Kloss. This is the tactics we've been talking about. It's Mashay Al Alabaidan, his Saudi Arabian teammate, who's talking to Danny on the radio.
Now straight to the short lap, short lap.
So if I was Brazil, I wouldn't follow them on that short lap now. I would stay out on the standard lap because I need to get into some clean water. Is he going to follow it? Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Wouldn't have done that because he's still in the dirty water, but who am I?
Yeah, well, interesting, isn't it? Because we've seen this earlier on in the season where they tried to do different strategies, but they've both gone for the short lap. You can see who's done the short lap and the long lap on the graphics at the top of your screen. And look at Brazil on the boost. They were brilliantly yesterday saving the boost on the back straight, ready for the home straight. But Miami are definitely coasting, aren't they, with Patricia Pita on the left-hand side. They seem to have an issue. Aoki still leading. Then it is Brazil in second place. But what's happening with Miami? Patricia is on the boost. She was saying yesterday she's just trying to improve her confidence and get to grips with racing on the water for the first time. She is the first person ever from Uruguay to have competed in the Dakar Rally and the first female driver in the Rally of Uruguay. And as I said before, she only did the academy for this back at Jeddah in January. Now, what are we going to see, Shelley, in the way of the normal race lap or the long lap for the two at the front? This is so close.
I would definitely I wouldn't do the long lap at this stage. You need to get that long distance out of your way. Brazil could do it. No, they haven't done it, so that's okay. I would definitely get some clean water out there for Brazil and try and get something under my belt, but different one. Miami, we're sort of pulling wide. Good racing there by Team Miami. She's pulling wide to let the other guys come through. If they're being lapped, then Team Miami definitely has a problem.
Yeah, Miami, their miserable season continuing. They're already last and 9th in the standings, 104 points off Rafa, your leaders, who moved ahead after finishing second in their qualifying race yesterday. So it looks as though Miami are out of the race, and of course they're definitely now not going through to the final. So it takes some pressure off the rest of them, but only one guaranteed final spot for whoever wins this race. The other two, second and third, will be going through what's known as the race-off later on this afternoon. Miami just about still coasting, aren't they? But in the meantime, we're into the second half of the race. This is lap 4 of 6. Oban Duncan is still running, by the way, for Drogba. She has done her long lap, so she's not as far behind as it would appear. But here's the live telemetry readouts for Danny Kloss and the Aoki Racing team. You see Rajan the Dragon there on the pink and blue livery. He's supposed to bring them good fortune, and he has already with 2 wins from the 5 rounds so far. And once again, that's the standard race lap, isn't it? I'm looking at our information, and I can tell you that Brazil have done the long lap. So now, different strategies being applied. There's Brazil on the left-hand side of your screen. They've done their long lap now. They've got a clear run to the finish through the last 2 laps. When will Danny Kloss take the long lap, do you think? Will it be the penultimate lap or the final tour?
I think he'll do it on the final tour, and it's whether Brazil can close that gap now. Now they're into some clean water. But as we see, every time the hull drops of the E1 RaceBird, you lose massive, massive speed. You might as well be ramming your foot onto a brake. And so the whole point of this is keep it gliding at all time on the foils and the hull out of the water. That's what gets you the speed and wins you the race.
So Miami might be going another lap down at this rate because Daniel Kloss will be catching. There's Drogba still in their third place. They have done their long lap and they still have one more short lap to go. It's going to be interesting to see if Drogba can get anywhere near the back of Brazil, but this is the talking point with Aoki, and it looks as though they are doing the long lap now, so they're not waiting for the long lap. So this is the crucial point in the race. Whoever wins this race is straight through to the final. Brazil will do the ordinary race lap. Look, they're following the white markings. Here come Aoki. It's going to be close. I think Danny Kloss is just going to get it, or is he? Over Timmy Hansen. No, it's worked. Brazil are ahead as we come through to start the last lap. That is phenomenal stuff. What an out lap it was from the long lap for Timmy Hansen. But Danny is now on the boost as we listen to Brazil on the radio. And they're informing Timmy that he's ahead. That's great, Shelley.
Great move there. And you saw that Brazil just came a little bit closer to Aoki there. He just pulled out and shut the door slightly. That's a great move because he was just giving them enough dirty water to slow him down.
Now, Brazil, they're on the boost as we come up to the left-hander of turn one. Danny Kloss is saving some boost. He applies a little bit, but let's see how it charges back up now. I'm not sure this is going to be enough for Danny Kloss, but I've been wrong before. As Hansen on his return, he wasn't with us back in Monaco because he was busy with World Rallycross in Hungary. That's his new teammate there, the 38-year-old from Latvia, here for the first time. Ieva Milere Hajin is with us for the first time here in E1. Brazil then, one more left-hander to go. And unless Danny Kloss can do anything spectacular with the Bruce strategy, or maybe a mistake for Brazil, it's surely now going to be the green and yellow RaceBird that comes through to go straight through to the final after a miserable season so far. It picked up with a podium in Monaco, and over the line comes Timmy Hansen back in E1 after missing around.
Congratulations.
Congratulations indeed. It is victory for Brazil. That is an incredible weekend for Brazil so far. 3 points yesterday in qualifying race 2, and now they are delighted, Shelley. It means, of course, that Aoki and Drogba, here at Drogba, coming through to third place. They will be going through the race-off later, but Brazil are straight through to the final.
Great drive there by Timmy Hansen. We heard Steve Curtis in the back there, the team principal, saying well done at the end over the team radio. So, yes, massive team effort and well done.
Absolutely brilliant effort. Timmy Hansen's got to be the pilot of the weekend so far. Timmy, well done again. It's all going so well, isn't it, here in Nigeria? And you win a group race for the first time in 2025. How are you feeling?
I think he's actually talking to his team there, Greg. So I think he was actually probably being congratulated, not listening to you.
Let's have another go. Timmy, how are you feeling? It's going so well this weekend. You're winning a group race then for the first time in 2025. He's focusing on berthing the boat. You obviously can't hear us at the moment. We'll try again, and I'm sure Saunders will be in the vicinity as well to catch up with the Super Swede. Well, how things can change so quickly, for better or for worse. And we were saying how difficult it is to dock these things, Shelley. That was a perfect example there from Aoki. A lot of movement on the water, isn't there?
Yeah, a lot of movement. And of course, you've only got one engine at the back, one propeller. And when you're trying to berth the boat and dock it, it's quite tricky with just one engine. You've got nothing to counteract it. Steve Curtis on the right there. Oh, and I think that's Team Brady actually congratulating them. So that is a lovely sight to see. Nice team effort there.
And I'm sure he ever will be down there as well. Danny Kloss is not at all happy, isn't he? Just flinging his gloves there towards the floor. It's not over. They've got more opportunities, but he wanted to go straight through to the final. Emotions aplenty here, good and bad so far in Lagos. Timmy Hansen then straight back into the action for Marcelo Clare's Team Brazil, and he wins to go straight through to the final later on, where a maximum 38 points are available. Kloss not very happy, but there is still time to recover the situation. Duncan will join him later on in the race-off. Miami, though, they're not going to make the final here in Lagos. Saunders CB is down there for us, and he's got a microphone with him.
Timmy, if I could just grab you for a second. Sorry, Timmy. Just need to congratulate you on that incredible work there. Talk us through it, because you know your first performance like that in the year. Credit where it's due.
Yeah, that was an incredible race. I got something stuck on my foil in the start, so the left foil just wouldn't pick up when we left. I was on the boost, but I still couldn't do more than 50 kilometers per hour down this start straight. And I just thought the race was over. But then we got so lucky, the thing came off. And then I was chasing Danny the whole time. It's so difficult in this dirty water. But my long lap and the lap after, when we were on split strategies, that was my best 2 laps of this weekend. It was absolutely perfect. And then, when I come around the normal bend and he come from the long lap, and it was super close. I just, I kept it steady, kept it flying, and yeah, what a win. That was a crazy race.
It's incredibly smooth flying to watch here from the water side, but you mentioned it there, the strategy so key in E1. You seem to have really got that down this weekend, not just now, but yesterday as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call to go short lap 1, when you want to use that to pass. But I think we had to use the short lap for defense in the first lap, because if I would have dropped further down the order, it would have been a very tough race to come back. So we had to follow Danny on that short lap, and then we really only have 1 card left to play when to do the long lap. And they did it perfectly. The team called me in just at the right time. I had perfect water, and that lap, there's so many details going in to go do a fast lap here, and everything was perfect.
Great work. Team ready to do it again.
I'm going to interrupt in 1 second, and I just want to say one thing. As Timmy knows, we have had quite the season, right? We've had our ups, our downs. But the one thing I will say is that Timmy is the most relentless fighter that we've had. We could not be happier to have him on the team. And I think it just goes to show the beauty of this team, that no matter what setbacks we always have the right strategy, we always have the right calls, and at the end of the day, this man is made out of pure steel and magic, and I could not be happier to have him part of the team.
Viva Brazil.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, mate.
Well, lovely words indeed. Thank you very much. Saunders there with Timmy Hansen, and the nephew there of Marcelo Claure, who's the Bolivian-American technology entrepreneur, businessman, the investor who runs this team. Now, because of the bad weather here, we've had a lot of debris in the lagoon after the last few days. You can just see it getting caught on our right-hand side, which is obviously the left foil, as we look down the left side of the RaceBird. Look, that's a large item as well. There, a bit of plastic that's obviously blown into the lagoon with the thunderstorm that we had earlier on. And as Timmy said, Shelley, look at it, there you go, breaks its way, makes its way off the foil, and that changed the entire race. If that had stayed there, they wouldn't have won that.
It just shows how aerodynamic these E1 RaceBirds are, and the sort of fine tuning that they have done on the foils and the whole RaceBird.
Wow, brilliant team tactics there in the communication from Steve Curtis. This is a replay look of the start of that race. This is when they're waiting. They have on their dashes the timer that we see on the TV screen counting down. And Brazil, look, you can see it's obviously caught already on the left foil, isn't it? Because Shelley, it's moving around from left to right. It's exactly what Timmy was just explaining to Saunders. What a getaway that was, look. Perfect on the boost for Danny Klaas. No wonder he was so annoyed. We were looking across from Drogba at that point. This is the view now from the Aoki RaceBird. Just listen to the power being applied. They're waiting patiently. It's over 600 meters from the last corner to the first corner, so they have to be very, very careful. There is the Black Diamond Hotel. All the teams watching on from the 12th floor balconies. And what a start that was again for Danny Klaas. Don't know whether he had some debris or a problem, because he clearly was almost in the lead at that point. This is with Miami now. We saw them drop back significantly, if you remember, and go a lap down. We're looking strong at the start. We've got Brazil on our left-hand side. Look how poor the visibility is as well with the movement on the water. Brazil came up alongside Aoki. I'd be very interested to know what Danny Klaas has got to say about that, because he was pretty furious, wasn't he, when he came in. He's had moments of joy and moments of fury so far in this 2025 campaign. And remember, they're still very much title contenders. Aoki are only 11 points behind Rafa. And now they've got the uncertainty of having to go through the race-off to make sure they are in the final. So far, Brazil, the only team in the final here at Lagos. Wind speed now has calmed down a bit to 25 kilometers per hour. It was 30 earlier. And so the group races continue here at the E1 Lagos GP presented by First Bank. We've had 4 of the teams out there. Another 5 will now be looking to go to battle. It's the same situation as before. Whoever finishes 5th will be not going into the final, and critically, more importantly, whoever wins will guarantee a spot in the final, where the maximum possible 38 points are available later on this afternoon. Who are the contenders? We have the reigning champions, the erstwhile championship leaders from before this weekend, Tom Brady's team with Sam Coleman, Rafa with Tom Schaap, recovering from a big incident last time out in Monaco, and incidentally still using a replacement boat. I know, I was chatting with Chris Lazaraga, their other pilot, last night, and the tracking is still a little bit out for the Rafa boat. Hopefully they've got that sorted. As we look at Brady and Sam Coleman, Sarah Price will be contending for Westbrook. We've got Team Blue Rising with Sarah Mizir. Remember, Blue Rising won last time out in Monte Carlo, and Alula will be out there as well with Andre Solvang. Shelley and I were having a chat with him earlier on, the 21-year-old F2 powerboat driver from Norway who's replacing Rusty Wyatt. Emma Kimmelainen watching on. She brought her 12-year-old daughter to the Dubrovnik round earlier on this season. There were people confusing her for a sister because she's taller than her already, would you believe? Okay, here's your grid. 1 is the inside lane, 5 the outside. So Rafa and Tom Schaap will be in the best position. Let's see what Sarah Price can do with the red RaceBird of Westbrook. Then it's Brady, who are desperate to grab the championship lead back. They really do need to win this if they can to go straight through to the final. Blue Rising with the momentum of the victory of last time out. And then Alula, our new team for 2025. They replace Team Checo. So it is Team Alula, championed by LeBron James, and Andre Solvang making his debut here in E1. As you can see, he's working on the world's largest cruise ship, teaches boating in Norway, drove a ship before a car. Not many people can say that. He's actually training to become a ship's captain. Representing the Caribbean and Jamaica, to be precise, is Sarah Mizir. Used to be a star in the world of equestrian, recovered from a very, very bad accident when she fractured her skull several years ago. That's all in the past now. And remember, this team won in Monaco with John Peters on board. He may be competing today with the Stars and Stripes American socks, but Sam Coleman is definitely from Wales in the United Kingdom. They were so close to getting into their qualifying race yesterday, but lost out after a gearbox problem that's now been sorted. A new gearbox for them. Moving across the water from right to left and the second lane. So in theory, the second best place to start is Sarah Price for Will Smith's Westbrook Racing. The 33-year-old from the United States of America. They're recovering from a battery problem here on Saturday. But for Rafa and their new boat, Tom Schaap, the 26-year-old from France, had to abandon ship, if you remember, after the collision in Monaco when he actually had to jump off a sinking boat and into the water. Can he do what Brazil have just done and go straight through to the final by winning this race? Shelley, here's the course, and as you said before, we've got short and long laps to contend with once again.
Yep, it's a pretty easy course with some lovely sweeping corners at either end and pretty easy chicane, so top speed all over the time. But when do you take the long lap and when do you take the short lap? That is the question.
And there is the all-important merge point just before the finish line on the start-finish, which is just shy of 600 metres. A very slight delay here, so we have an extra 3 minutes to wait now. We had a couple of delays yesterday, didn't we? Because as I said, all the storms, a bit of debris in the water. We had a couple of wandering smart marks at one point as well. So everybody now in what's known as the milling area, as you can see for yourself. And because of that longer run here, Shelley, to the line, we have seen a few people going too soon, haven't we? And having to then slow down. So hopefully for their sake, that won't happen this time. But it's something they've been practicing across the various practice periods we had here back on Friday. Weather conditions are okay at this point. Humidity's decreased, but still very high at 77%, 23 degrees Celsius ambient temperature. Saunders is with Chris Lazaraga of Team Rafa.
Chris, with delays like we've had today, sometimes it takes a little bit of digging deep to get the mentality in the right spot. Is that what you've had to do today?
Well, yes, this type of changes on the schedule, of course, put us a little bit nervous, but we are here to race. So finally we are on the water, and let's see the show. I hope we can give the people good racing, and for sure that we can continue. Now we are on the group stages. Let's see if we can get to the final. And now Tom is about to start, so I hope we can have a safe race.
You've started the day exactly where you want to be at the end of the day, top of the championship. What's it going to take to make that happen? What have you seen from strategy that might make that become real?
Well, it's not about today. I think it's something that we've been working on through all the season. So today we have to complete the work that we've been doing, and the final is in Miami. So we want to stay calm, be humble, and know that the hard work is still yet to be done. So let's see.
You've of course had an additional challenge of having a new boat to contend with and learn. You know, every boat might be the same with the eyes, but under the surface there's all these little micro differences. How has it been adapting?
We are lucky that we like challenges, actually, because yes, it's been a challenge. Actually, the boat is not performing as we wanted. It's just small details, you know, but they make a change. In the end, we are piloting something that we know very well, so every little detail counts. So we are trying to adapt as fast as possible and just give the best performance we can.
Let's see what Tom can do now. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Saunders. Yeah, Chris, I was chatting with her last night, Shelley, and she said the direction's a little bit out. So I think the wheel might be straight, but it's pulling to one side. That must be a little bit off-putting, to say the least.
Yeah, it's a bit like when your steering goes on your car and you're sort of like yanking it down on one side to keep the car straight. So it's very off-putting, quite difficult to turn a corner, but she did well to actually just even finish the race if that was happening. Hopefully they've mended that overnight.
Fingers crossed. Here we go again. Then you can see the race will start in 35 seconds time. There are 5 in contention as we look into the eyes of 4 of them. Tom Schaap is on the left-hand side for Rafa. Sarah Price, top right for Westbrook. Get ready to go. And look, a little bit of impatience maybe there for Sarah Mizir and Team Blue Rising. John Peters, JP, her teammate, on board now with Sarah. But JP is certainly a renowned starter. Here come the rest of them. Sarah's going to hold back and then get going. 8 seconds to go. Look who's using the boost. Sarah certainly is using the boost now, but will have less momentum from those who are flying from behind. Alula looking very good. Are we away on time? I think just about. Tom Schaap, Shelley, has the advantage. I don't think it's going to stay that way for long though. Look at Blue Rising. Almost contact with Brady. Brady in the middle. Blue Rising on one side. Westbrook on the other. As Westbrook now shoots through to take the lead.
That was so close. They were really like back. Oh, that looked like touch, but I'm not quite sure. But that was a real battle, and they were really closing on each other on that start. But Team Blue Rising, quite like their tactic of a start there. That was a new tactic, and it actually nearly worked.
Coleman, if there wasn't contact, there very nearly was. That was so close, wasn't it? Look, it's pushed Coleman, Brady, the reigning champions who were leading the championship coming into this round, all the way to the back of the field as Rafa went steaming up their inside. So it looked as though there was contact between Rafa and Brady. As Shelley's already said, no long or short laps on this first lap. What they do need to do, though, is what's known as the start lap. So those green markers signify the long lap, but that doesn't count as an actual long lap. That's just the route they take, isn't it, on the initial lap of the race?
Well explained, Greg. Yes, because everyone's looking and going, but they're doing the long lap. No, that is the start run. They have to do the start run, which takes them round that long lap course. Now we're on to the standard lap, and we can do short laps and long laps whenever we want. But Brady is struggling there. Look at him dropping down into the water. He just can't balance the RaceBird. Oh, has he got it now up on the foils? No, that's really unusual for Sam, really unusual. So I think he could be struggling there with something.
Yes, the current's coming from behind them there, and Lucas Ordonez was telling me last night that although it pushes you along better, it does mean it's easier to drop down off the foils, and that was a perfect demonstration there, wasn't it? Unfortunately, from Sam Coleman. He was absolutely together there with Andre Solvang, who's been going great guns so far in his debut, the 21-year-old from Norway who's subbing for Rusty Wyatt. Team Alula, like Team Miami, have an all-new lineup. So 4 of the 5 rookies in the field are across Team Miami and Team Alula this weekend. Okay, Westbrook are coming in for their short lap, so obviously that's going to extend their lead. Back on board with the recovering Sam Coleman, who dives up the inside of Rafa. He's taken 2 boats in the last few metres. We already think there's been contact between those two in the race so far. So Alula doing the standard lap, somebody went for a long lap. Blue Rising have gone for the long lap, so this completely shakes up the order now, and we're not going to know where they are until probably the start of the very last lap.
Sam has made a great recovery there because he really seemed to be struggling, but by doing that short lap, it's actually pushed him back up into the pack. So nicely done there.
Yeah, it gets him out of the wake of some of those other RaceBirds in front of him as well, doesn't it? These are the average times. When you look at the long lap, it's 200 metres longer than the standard lap. The short lap, 200 metres shorter, and that is approximately, on average, based on what we've seen so far, the time you will lose or gain doing either your long or short laps. Westbrook then, with the American Sarah Price. They've already done their short lap. On board then now with Sarah, looking as calm as we've seen her all weekend so far. It is still Coleman and Brady. We're on board now in second place, and we're definitely closing in, aren't we, on the Will Smith run. Westbrook Racing RaceBird. On the left-hand side of your screen is Tom Schaap, the Frenchman, karting star, powerboat star. He's doing his long lap. So Rafa are the first in this race to have completed both their short and their long laps.
Yeah, and Andre is holding right back there in Ilula. He hasn't done a short or a long lap. But can he take this lead now? Oh, this is close. Is he going to get it? No. Yes. Well, nobody's got it. It's neck and neck. Lula and Rafa on board here with Team Rafa, looking across at Team Ilula, who are literally level.
Absolutely side by side on the run down to turn one here in Nigeria. Rafa really don't want this. They wanted clear water. Look at that boat moving around, Shelley.
Yes, well, Rafa were trying to close in on them there and try and sort of shut that door, but Ilula were having none of it.
Brady, in the meantime, have taken the lead, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, and that's a net lead for them now because they still have a long lap to go, but so do Westbrook in second place. Solvang is third for Ilula. He needs to do his short and his long laps. Then it's Schaap. It's going to be interesting to see how close Tom can be. There's the current predictor, which is actually saying that Blue Rising and Rafa could jump up ahead. But look, even as we talk to you, it's changing all the time.
Westbrook are taking their long lap, which is interesting. So they are on their long lap now. Sam's still got a long lap to do, so I can see where Sarah's coming from. She was like, let's get the long lap done, and then all I've got to do is get across that finish line and hopefully stay in front of oh, now we've got Ilula right up into second place. I love this long lap, short lap. It changes everything.
It certainly does, doesn't it? And as the conditions change all the time as well, it's difficult to know where to look next. But Blue Rising are going to try and go straight through between the middle of them there, threading the eye of the needle as we look across from Rafa to Westbrook, the red RaceBird. Blue Rising, who won in Monaco last time out. This is so close. And remember, Coleman, who is leading, still needs to take his long lap. So his current advantage is 24 seconds over Ilula. Ilula need to do a long and a short lap. So this is going to be so close as we come through to the start of the 6th and final lap. You know what? I think anyone possibly could still win this, Shelley, because of the combination of who've yet done the long and short laps. This is going to be so close. You might even see Rafa still in contention for the win here.
I can't predict it. Normally I can look at it all and go, I can predict what's going to happen, but this time I absolutely can't, because no one has actually kept to the normal strategy, and they have, yeah. I wouldn't put money on it.
Okay, through the short lap then goes the second place Ilula boat of Andre Solvang. We're now looking at Blue Rising, and they're being predicted to move up into at least second place. Brady have the lead as the locals who've made us so welcome and team members all watch on. But Brady with the lead, they still need to take their long lap. So do Ilula in second place. So are Brady going to get away with this now on this last lap of the race? Sam Coleman, as we look down on him, you can see the boost decreasing. He's used all of his boost now. It's going to take a few more seconds for that to recharge. I think he should be okay, but we need to see how close it's going to be with Blue Rising, because they have done their long and short laps. You will see them appearing on the right-hand side of your screen in a moment as Brady comes through the long lap there, delineated by the green smart marks. They do not touch the bottom of the lagoon. They all operate automatically by GPS, but here come Blue Rising. It's not going to be enough for them. Brady are coming through in what's been a remarkable recovery after the gearbox problems earlier on in the weekend. Brady are through to the final. Who's going to be second though? Because Ilula and Blue Rising are going to be very, very close. Emma very pleased with that one. And it looks like Blue Rising have jumped through. Yes, they have, look, to second place. Then it's Alula. What a great top three that is for Andre Solvang on his debut weekend in E1. Rafa will be fourth, and that means Westbrook are not going to get through to the final there. That's amazing. Sarah Price was leading at the start of this race, and Westbrook, who are fifth in the championship and 54 points off the leaders, any distant chance they had of winning the championship is becoming even more distant now for them. As Sarah gets the boost on, but it's not going to be enough. Surely they had some sort of issue there, because she's lost a lot of pace, hasn't she, compared with the early stages. And Lucas or Donyev will be frustrated with the situation, I am sure. I'm sure Sam Coleman's not, though. Well, Sam, it's been a bit of a challenging set of circumstances, hasn't it, so far here, with a gearbox change yesterday, sprinting Le Mans style to the RaceBird, and it seems to be all going in the right direction. You're into the final, well done.
Yeah, thank you. It was a bit more than just a gearbox yesterday. It was a snap midsection, so the boys had to take the engine into two pieces and rebuild it, so they did a great job yesterday. I enjoyed the Le Mans start yesterday, but it was nice not to have to leg it to the boat to start this session today.
And how's it feeling out there now on the water? Are the conditions any better than they were earlier or yesterday?
You're going to get us whinging about parking boats and talking to you again here, aren't you? Yeah, conditions are similar to yesterday, bit of wind chop. Quite like it with a little bit of chop on it, makes it a bit technical, doesn't it? So, yeah, it's still fast and flat water, just got to keep it clean.
Thank you, Sammy. Maybe you can get one of those automatic parking devices installed like they've got on some road cars. I'll leave you in peace. Coleman in, and the team are managing to put him back into the dock. Thank you again for that. Well, as he said, it was the midsection, Shelley, that had to be replaced. I mean, that is a key component of the drivetrain on these RaceBirds. What a great job they did. And actually, if you look at the E1 Series Instagram page, there's a nice feature into how that was all changed and how calm they all remain. But let's just look back then, Shelley Jury-Lee, at that race. This was the start, and Westbrook were looking very strong. Let's watch out for the contact, though. The two boats who are third and fourth along. Well, actually, no, Rafa's on the inside, so Westbrook move ahead. Brady in the middle of a big squeeze, but as we got down to turn one, watch the orange boat furthest away from us. Do they touch? I think they just about got away with that. That was so close, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I think that was a little foil to foil. Let's have a look. Can we see?
Let's see. The camera will explain the story, I am sure. They often cut out if there's contact, so let's see what happens. Are we going to get a whack?
Yes!
Oh, yes, we certainly do. Oh, poor camera. Oh, it survived, just. Well, I guess it survived. I don't know where we are. Oh, yeah, look, we've spun around and we're looking at the left foil. Well done, camera. And that was a perfect demonstration of the contact there with Rafa on the inside. No wonder Emma was a bit concerned. To think, actually, that they kept going and still managed to win that race and cement a position in the final was incredible. Looking across now then to Alula. Quick word on Andre Solvang. We were chatting with him earlier on this morning. What confidence. And he's saying it's not necessarily an advantage to have powerboat experience, Shelley, because of the way increasing or decreasing the trim levels actually has the opposite effect to a conventional powerboat. That must be a bit confusing for him.
It's actually so much better if you don't race conventional race boats, because the E1 RaceBird, as I've said many times before, is a completely different beast. It's the opposite. So the positive and negative trim is completely the opposite to what you've learned for the rest of your life. It's all about flying on the foils or on the tippy toes, as Sarah described yesterday, which was so lovely. Tippy toes of the E1 RaceBird. Yes, you've got to keep those foils flying up through the water, but making contact, but not too much contact.
Emma Kimmerleinen absolutely overjoyed. It's not over yet, but it's hard to believe that Brady were almost 50 points behind. They were 46 points behind after Dubrovnik at round 3, and here we are 3 rounds later, and they could find themselves back in leadership of E1 for 2025 with just 1 round to go after this one. Miami, Florida on Friday the 7th and Saturday the 8th of November. So, Brady will join Brazil in the final. Westbrook, sadly for them, will not be in the final. 2nd, 3rd and 4th in this race will all go through what's known as the race-off later on. Brady, though, what a story for them. 14.3 seconds it was, as you can see. from the Welsh pilot back to the Jamaican Sarah Mizier, who is now with Saunders CB.
Sarah, in a race with lots of chopping and changing, you got the job done. Congratulations, good work.
Thank you so much. It was quite a difficult race, but I kept my calm, just focused on myself and just ran my race and listened to my team. So they brought it home for us. We all worked together and it really brought it home.
Talk us through that race from your perspective, because as we said, there's lots of chopping and changing. There's a very, very essential strategy at play. How did it work for you?
It was quite difficult because, you know, you have a lot of teams that are using the dirty water from behind them to kind of mess up who's in front. So I had a couple times of boats in front of me crossing lanes, so I just had to cross back and find that fresh water. But my key thing there was just keeping calm, not worrying about anybody else, and just running my race and keeping consistent and not breaking anything. So that was good to keep in mind.
And you've of course got John starting in lane 2 in the race off as well. We've seen what you can do in the RaceBird, in this RaceBird on starts. Very strong performance, just looking back at Monaco at least. You must be feeling confident.
Absolutely, you know, they call him the king of starts, and I do as well. So he's got this in the bag. I have full confidence. I'm going to be taking over spotting for him. So wishing myself good luck on that as well.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you much.
Thanks, Sarah. Thank you to Saunders as well. And JP, your teammate, certainly is the king of the starts. No doubt about that. He was even pilot of the race. He was nominated pilot of the race, the American teammate there of Sarah last time out in Monte Carlo. So this is what that does after those group races we've just seen. Unfortunately for Miami and Westbrook, they're not through to the final. They'll still score points later on, but the best they can hope for now is a victory in the place race. Certainly contending for overall victory are Brazil and Brady. Brazil having a really, really strong weekend as we come to Africa and Nigeria for the first time. The race-off, that's the crucial one. That's those teams who've not won or finished last in their races we've just seen. 3 of them from the race-off will move through to the final later on this afternoon. I wonder what's been discussed there between Emma and Sam down at Tom Brady's team. E1, which started back in 2024. This is our second season now. Mission control here up on the 12th floor of the Black Diamond Hotel as we come here to Lagos in Nigeria for the first time. Just a quick final word from you, Shelly, and then we'll be back on air in a bit for the real crucial stuff where points are handed out. What are your feelings? Because I would not want to put money on who's going to win this event here.
Well, I'm not going to say anything, Greg, because in that last race, I was actually completely lost and I had no idea who was going to cross that finish line. Their strategy was such chopping and changing, which makes great spectator watching, but I couldn't understand it, so
I've been most impressive so far with the way everybody's been reacting to difficult situations, bouncing back from technical problems, overcoming the emotion. Remember the emotion these guys had in Monaco when the boat sunk. They're using, as Chris said earlier to Saunders, a replacement boat here. Okay, 4 more races still to come here this afternoon at Lagos. We will be back on air at 4 o'clock local time, just over 50 minutes from now as the big points are handed out here in Nigeria. See you in a bit.